Phrasal verb 49. Put aside. It means to set something aside or reserve it for later use or consideration.
Example 1. Sarah put aside some money from her paycheck to save for a vacation. Example 2. John decided to put aside his personal differences with his coworker and focus on collaborating for the project. Example 3. The teacher asked the students to put aside their books and listen attentively to the lecture.
Phrasal verb 50. Put back. It means to return something to its original place or position.
Example 1. After reading the book, Sarah put it back on the shelf where she found it. Example 2. The child mistakenly took a toy from another child, but the teacher intervened and asked them to put it back. Example 3. John borrowed his neighbor's tools and made sure to clean them before putting them back in the toolbox.
Phrasal verb 51. Put down. It means to place something in a lower position or to set it down.
Example 1. After finishing the book, Sarah put it down on the table and closed it. Example 2. John carefully put down the heavy box he was carrying to rest his arms. Example 3. The teacher asked the students to put down their pencils and listen to the instructions.
Phrasal verb 52. Put forward. It means to propose or suggest something for consideration.
Example 1. During the meeting, Sarah put forward her idea for a new marketing campaign. Example 2. John put forward his name as a candidate for the leadership position in the organization. Example 3. The committee members discussed the various proposals put forward by the team before making a decision.
Phrasal verb 53. Run across. It means to encounter or come across something or someone unexpectedly.
Example 1. While walking in the park, Sarah ran across an old friend she hadn't seen in years. Example 2. John ran across an interesting article while browsing the internet. Example 3. During his trip to the beach, Tim ran across a beautiful seashell on the shore.
Phrasal verb 54. Run into. It means to encounter someone or something unexpectedly.
Example 1. While shopping at the mall, Sarah ran into her neighbor and they had a pleasant chat. Example 2. John ran into a problem with his computer when it suddenly shut down. Example 3. During his vacation in a foreign country, Tim ran into a fellow traveler from his hometown.
Phrasal verb 55. Set aside. It means to reserve or allocate something for a specific purpose or use.
Example 1. Sarah set aside some time in her schedule to work on her personal projects. Example 2. John set aside a portion of his paycheck each month for his savings account. Example 3. The team set aside a meeting room for their brainstorming session.
Phrasal verb 56. Set back. It means to cause a delay or hinder progress.
Example 1. The heavy rain set back the construction project by several days. Example 2. John's illness set him back in his training schedule for the marathon. Example 3. Sarah's car breaking down on the way to work set her back and made her late for the meeting.
Phrasal verb 57. Show off. It means to display one's skills, talents, or possessions in an ostentatious or boastful manner.
Example 1. During the talent show, Sarah decided to show off her impressive singing abilities. Example 2. John always brings his new gadgets to parties to show off to his friends. Example 3. The student eagerly raised his hand to show off his knowledge and answer the teacher's question.
Phrasal verb 58. Shut off. It means to stop the flow or operation of something, typically by closing a valve or switch.
Example 1. Sarah shut off the water faucet after washing her hands. Example 2. John shut off the lights before leaving the room to save energy. Example 3. The mechanic shut off the engine to inspect the car's faulty parts.
Phrasal verb 59. Sit down. It means to take a seat or settle into a sitting position.
Example 1. Sarah felt tired after a long day and decided to sit down on the comfortable sofa. Example 2. John politely asked his guests to sit down at the dining table for dinner. Example 3. The teacher instructed the students to sit down at their desks and begin the lesson.
Phrasal verb 60. Stand up. It means to rise from a sitting or lying position and assume a standing position.
Example 1. Sarah stood up from her chair to greet her friend who just arrived. Example 2. John stood up to stretch his legs after sitting at his desk for a long time. Example 3. The audience stood up and applauded after the inspiring performance.
Phrasal verb 61. Take after. It means to resemble or inherit traits or qualities from someone, especially a family member.
Example 1. Sarah takes after her mother in terms of artistic talent. They both have a knack for painting. Example 2. John takes after his father in terms of height. He is as tall as his dad. Example 3. The little girl takes after her grandmother with her love for baking. She enjoys making cookies, just like her grandma.
Phrasal verb 62. Take apart. It means to disassemble or dismantle something into its individual parts.
Example 1. Sarah took apart the old clock to see how it worked and then put it back together. Example 2. John took apart the puzzle to rearrange the pieces and solve it more effectively. Example 3. The mechanic took apart the engine to diagnose the problem and repair it.
Phrasal verb 63. Take back. It means to retract or withdraw something that has been said or offered.
Example 1. Sarah realized her mistake and quickly took back her hurtful words. Example 2. John decided to take back his resignation and continue working at the company. Example 3. The store allowed customers to take back defective products for a refund or exchange.
Phrasal verb 64. Take down. It means to lower or remove something from its position or place.
Example 1. Sarah took down the curtains to wash them. Example 2. John took down the old photograph from the wall and replaced it with a new one. Example 3. The workers took down the scaffolding after completing the construction project.
Phrasal verb 65. Take in. It means to comprehend or understand something, often by observing or processing information.
Example 1. Sarah took in the breathtaking view from the mountaintop. Example 2. John took in the instructions carefully before starting the task. Example 3. The students took in the teacher's explanation of the math problem and solved it correctly.
Phrasal verb 66. Tear down. It means to dismantle or destroy a structure or object.
Example 1. The old building was in such poor condition that they decided to tear it down and build a new one. Example 2. John helped tear down the cardboard boxes after unpacking the items. Example 3. The strong winds tore down the tree branches during the storm.
Phrasal verb 67. Think about. It means to consider or ponder something in one's mind.
Example 1. Sarah took a moment to think about her options before making a decision. Example 2. John asked his friend to think about the consequences before taking any action. Example 3. The teacher encouraged the students to think about the topic and share their thoughts in class.
Phrasal verb 68. Throw out. It means to discard or get rid of something.
Example 1. Sarah decided to throw out the old magazines that were cluttering her room. Example 2. John accidentally threw out his notes while cleaning his desk. Example 3. The restaurant had to throw out the spoiled food to ensure the safety of its customers.
Phrasal verb 69. Try out. It means to test or experiment with something in order to evaluate its performance or suitability.
Example 1. Sarah decided to try out a new recipe for dinner. Example 2. John is going to try out for the school basketball team. Example 3. The company allows customers to try out their products before making a purchase.
Phrasal verb 70. Turn away. It means to refuse entry or deny access to someone or something.
Example 1. The bouncer turned away the underage individuals trying to enter the nightclub. Example 2. The store had to turn away customers during closing time. Example 3. Despite their plea for help, the embassy turned away the refugees at the border.
Phrasal verb 70. Turn away. It means to refuse entry or deny access to someone or something.
Example 1. Sarah turned down the job offer because she found a better opportunity elsewhere. Example 2. John asked Mary to the dance, but she turned him down politely. Example 3. The company turned down his proposal due to budget constraints.
Phrasal verb 71. Turn down. It means to reject or refuse an offer, request, or invitation.
Example 1. After completing the assignment, Mary turned it in to her teacher. Example 2. The suspect decided to turn himself in to the police. Example 3. Don't forget to turn in your library books before the due date.
Phrasal verb 73. Turn out. It means to attend or participate in an event or gathering.
Example 1. Many people turned out for the concert in the park. Example 2. The community turned out in large numbers to support the charity event. Example 3. Despite the rain, fans still turned out to cheer for their favorite team.
Phrasal verb 74. Wake up to. It means to become aware or realize something.
Example 1. I finally woke up to the fact that I had been neglecting my health. Example 2. After reading the book, she woke up to the importance of environmental conservation. Example 3. It took a while, but he eventually woke up to the reality of his financial situation.
Phrasal verb 75. Walk out. It means to leave abruptly or protest.
Example 1. The employees were unhappy with their working conditions, so they decided to walk out of the office. Example 2. When the teacher announced an unfair rule, the students decided to walk out of the classroom in protest. Example 3. The audience was disappointed with the performer's behavior and began to walk out of the concert.
Phrasal verb 76. Warm up to. It means develop a liking or friendliness.
Example 1. At first, the shy child was hesitant, but eventually, he warmed up to his new classmates and started making friends. Example 2. The puppy was cautious around strangers, but it quickly warmed up to the kind-hearted visitor and wagged its tail in joy. Example 3. Initially, she was skeptical about the idea, but after hearing more about it, she started warming up to the possibility of joining the team.
Phrasal verb 77. Wash away. It means to remove or be removed by water.
Example 1. The river's strong current washed away the sandcastle we built on the beach. Example 2. The rainstorm was so intense that it washed away the paint on the outdoor walls. Example 3. Be careful not to leave your belongings near the shore, as the rising tide can wash them away.
Phrasal verb 78. Watch over. It means to monitor or protect someone, something.
Example 1. The babysitter will watch over the children while their parents are away. Example 2. The lifeguard watched over the swimmers to ensure their safety. Example 3. The security guard watched over the building during the night shift.
Phrasal verb 79. Write off. It means to consider something as a loss or no longer valuable, especially in financial contexts.
Example 1. The company had to write off a significant amount of debt due to the customer's inability to pay. Example 2. The accountant recommended writing off the obsolete inventory to reflect its true value. Example 3. After years of unsuccessful attempts to collect the unpaid bills, the business decided to write them off as bad debts.
Phrasal verb 80. Add on. It means to include something extra or additional.
Example 1. She decided to add on a side salad to her meal. Example 2. The company offers an optional warranty that you can add on to your purchase. Example 3. The construction project took longer than expected because they kept adding on new features.
Phrasal verb 81. Bear with. It means to have patience or endure someone or something.
Example 1. Please bear with me while I find the information you requested. Example 2. I appreciate your understanding and patience. Bear with us as we resolve the technical issue. Example 3. The website is currently experiencing some technical difficulties. We apologize for the inconvenience and kindly ask you to bear with us until the issue is resolved.
Phrasal verb 82. Break out. It means to escape or become visible suddenly.
Example 1. During the fire, the students broke out of the building and ran to safety. Example 2. The rash on my skin started to itch and then broke out in red spots. Example 3. As soon as the music started, the crowd broke out in applause and cheers.
Phrasal verb 83. Bring about. It means to cause or make something happen.
Example 1. The new government's policies brought about positive changes in the economy. Example 2. Hard work and dedication can bring about success in life. Example 3. Effective communication can bring about understanding and resolution in conflicts.
Phrasal verb 84. Call for. It means to request or demand something.
Example 1. I will call for a taxi to take us to the airport. Example 2. The situation calls for immediate action. Example 3. The teacher called for volunteers to help with the school event.
Phrasal verb 85. Carry through. It means to complete or accomplish successfully.
Example 1. She was determined to carry through with her plan to start her own business. Example 2. Despite the challenges, they managed to carry through their project and deliver it on time. Example 3. The team worked together to carry through the difficult task and achieve their goals.
Phrasal verb 86. Check off. It means to mark or indicate completion or verification of something.
Example 1. I checked off the items on my grocery list as I put them in my cart. Example 2. The teacher checked off the names of the students as they arrived in the classroom. Example 3. After finishing a task, I checked it off my to-do list.
Phrasal verb 87. Clear out. It means to remove or get rid of things from a place.
Example 1. I need to clear out my closet and donate the clothes I no longer wear. Example 2. The office is closing, so we have to clear out our desks and pack up our belongings. Example 3. After the storm, we had to clear out the fallen branches from our yard.
Phrasal verb 88. Come by. It means to obtain or acquire.
Example 1. I came by a new book at the bookstore. Example 2. She was able to come by some extra tickets for the concert. Example 3. Can you come by my office tomorrow to discuss the project?
Phrasal verb 89. Come off. It means to succeed or happen as intended or planned.
Example 1. The school play came off beautifully, and the audience loved it. Example 2. Despite some initial doubts, the party came off without a hitch and everyone had a great time. Example 3. The negotiation came off successfully, resulting in a favorable agreement for both parties.
Phrasal verb 90. Come up. It means to approach or move closer.
Example 1. The dog came up to me and wagged its tail. Example 2. I saw a familiar face in the crowd, so I came up to say hello. Example 3. As I was walking down the street, a stranger came up and asked for directions.
Phrasal verb 91. Cross over. It means to move from one side to another.
Example 1. The hikers crossed over the bridge to reach the other side of the river. Example 2. The pedestrian waited for the traffic to stop before crossing over the street. Example 3. The cat carefully crossed over the fence to explore the neighbor's yard.
Phrasal verb 92. Cut in. It means to interrupt or join suddenly.
Example 1. During their conversation, Sarah cut in with an important question. Example 2. The car suddenly cut in front of me, causing me to brake abruptly. Example 3. Please wait for a moment before you cut in with your own thoughts.
Phrasal verb 93. Deal with. It means to handle or manage a situation or task.
Example 1. I need to deal with my overflowing inbox by responding to all the emails. Example 2. The manager will deal with the customer's complaint and try to resolve the issue. Example 3. It's important to learn how to deal with stress in a healthy way for your well-being.
Phrasal verb 94. Do away with. It means to eliminate or get rid of something.
Example 1. We should do away with single-use plastic to protect the environment. Example 2. The company decided to do away with its outdated policies and implement new ones. Example 3. The government is taking steps to do away with bureaucratic red tape and streamline processes.
Phrasal verb 95. Dress up as. It means to wear a costume or clothing to resemble someone or something else.
Example 1. During Halloween, many children dress up as their favorite superheroes. Example 2. Sarah decided to dress up as a pirate for the costume party. Example 3. The actors in the play will dress up as historical figures from the 18th century.
Phrasal verb 96. Drive away. It means to leave or depart by vehicle.
Example 1. I waved goodbye to my friend as they drove away in their car. Example 2. The taxi driver waited until the passengers had driven away before picking up the next customer. Example 3. The noise from the construction site was so loud that it drove away the birds.
Phrasal verb 97. Ask around. It means to inquire or seek information from others.
Example 1. I need to find a good restaurant, so I'll ask around to see if anyone has any recommendations. Example 2. If you're not sure about something, it's always a good idea to ask around and get different opinions. Example 3. John wanted to know where he could find a plumber, so he decided to ask around his neighborhood for any recommendations.
Phrasal verb 98. Bear up. It means to endure or cope with difficulty.
Example 1. Despite facing numerous challenges, she managed to bear up and stay strong. Example 2. He lost his job, but he is trying to bear up and remain positive. Example 3. The team faced a series of setbacks, but they continued to bear up and work towards their goal.
Phrasal verb 99. Blow over. It means to pass without causing significant impact or attention.
Example 1. Don't worry, the disagreement between them will blow over soon. Example 2. The storm was intense, but it blew over quickly. Example 3. The rumors about her will blow over once people realize they are untrue.
Phrasal verb 100. Call forth. It means to evoke or bring about.
Example 1. The heartfelt speech called forth tears from the audience. Example 2. The beautiful music called forth feelings of joy and happiness. Example 3. The teacher's inspiring words called forth a sense of motivation in the students.